Hey, shalom! It's the Gold Premiere live stream. And I tried practicing, you know that. I practiced 3 different times to try to Premiere. It didn't work. So I got up here an hour early and was just chatting with people and late to my own Premiere. The video already played. And thank you to people who showed up to see it on my channel. So if you missed it, hey Angela, bless you. Are you feeling better? Um, it will be up on my channel, so if you missed the premiere of it, you can just go there and watch it. And then I'll stay here online for, maybe the next hour, talk about the video and see what you thought about it. Shalom! Hey Mike, how are you doing? Long time no see. And I need Bonds. I will see that I'm online and come back and maybe be a moderator for me. She was there at the premiere, and the whole thing cuts off. You're not the one who was sick. Chasing Life was the sick one. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hey, shalom, shalom. Denise Becker. Hey. So I guess Tra Tra Rebel Farmer. Shalom. I guess the premiere was Eastern time. I set it for 7, and I wanted it 7 full time. But when I tried to get online, it was already I got the times mixed up by an hour. But I am here. I'm able to be live. So if you've watched the video, I'm ready to talk about it with you. And if you haven't, you can just, it should be posted there and watch it there. I was going to try to live stream on my computer, but I'm having a hard time getting that set up. So let's see. It says I'm offline, which makes no sense because I'm online. I'm obviously online with y'all right here through my phone. I don't know what's going on with it. And the other day we had that practice one and it worked fine. So let's see if I can try this thing right here. Mommy, you should put the phone up balanced on my plane or something. Well, do you guys have a stand? Hey, from Pacific Northwest, Biz, shalom, shalom. How are you? Denise, the best way coming into the area and looking for land is for your husband's email. And he puts his email address out all the time, Viking Services. Nunya Biz, aside from being a little off kilter because this thing didn't work the way I expected it to, I'm doing just fine. Anyway, Denise, just put in the tagline, coming for property, can we meet? And we kind of have a standard procedure for that, give a little background and history on yourselves, and then we take it from there. April Passover time, it depends on when you come because we may be really, really busy. So we'll just have to see. Give me a second. See, I'm trying to get live stream offline. I'm trying to get my computer to get online too, so I don't have to hold the phone and type on the phone to do chat responses and everything. I don't know why this is doing this. It was fine the other day when we did our practice. I'll try it one more time. Come on. You've emailed a few times, no response. I don't know what else to tell you to put on there. Just keep trying. Did I get my cat food? That is a really good question. Yes, we did. We got the cat food. Thank you for asking that. Pastor, he prepared me. They're going to ask you because he put it out on his video. And so he said, you tell them yes. So I appreciate that. Wow. This is crazy. Why are you offline? All right, you guys try again. Oh, thanks, Nun. So do you guys see the video? If you haven't, it should be up on my channel. I can check that right now. Let's see. Haven't posted it? No, yep, there it is. There's the premiere. 26 people have watched it so far and what's up. And thank you for the thumbs up here on the last. It counts towards the total on my channel, etc., etc. So if you're here and you don't mind, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. That does help me out. Wow. So Haggai 2:7-9. What is that about? Go ahead and share, Jesse. And who else is here? I don't know that I can see that. Rotating. Thanks for the thumbs up, you guys. I appreciate it. Oh, thanks, Tim's World. Okay, Michigan Susan. I can wait until you get done watching it. Should be no problem. It's about 20 minutes long. Hey, there you are, Teresa. Glad to see you're there. Were you able to see the video, Teresa? What did you think of it? So, one of the things about the gold biblically is the Isaiah quote at the end: "The Lord will take your brass and turn it into gold." Teresa, it's on my channel. It's already posted on my channel, so you can watch it there. It's about 20 minutes long if you want to see it. The Lord will take brass and he will give you gold in return. I think that's kind of interesting thought there, because he definitely blesses us. And so the whole how your life goes and what's happening in your life, and if it's you or not, is really dependent on the Father and your relationship with him. And so that's what I think he will turn brass and give you gold means. The fact that China right now is the biggest producer of the world's gold. Heard that before. That's true. Do you think that might affect politics? That China produces the most gold? Because that used to be South Africa, and now South Africa is like 6th or 7th, and I think we're after them. And Canada is one of the big players. Uzbekistan and Indonesia are up there for gold production, and we're seeing a lot more about them in our news, which I think is kind of interesting, because, you know, what do Americans care about what's happening in Uzbekistan? It's mine, gold is mine, is the utterance of Jehovah, right? Because he's the creator of those things. You know, he's the one who made it, and he does require, or did require in his temple, certain bowls and candle stands and everything be made of gold or silver, or you know, the priest's outfit had to be up, or if it were wool, it would make them sweat, and just, he's very, very particular about it. And the other thing about gold is it can be just lying around in the ground. It can be formed by the, you know, the volcanic actions and the molten lava and everything, and things like mine it, and you'll find it where it has been deposited. It's also in the oceans. I didn't even cover that in the video, but there is gold in ocean water. Obviously, it's not, you know, it's not really concentrated. You have to process it, and it would probably take a whole lot of work. Shalom, Pastor.
Is that Dad?
Yeah, Dad's online too.
Hi, Dad.
So, Pastor Joe, I guess I set the time on that thing for 7 Eastern time, not 7 Central. So the video played, the premiere played at 6, and I got to be in on the tail end of it. So that's why I decided to do a live stream afterwards, because I know there's going to be people showing up at 7, and they'll see that it's available, but then I can also be here to discuss it with them. So, everything, I got here fine and got set up fine and everything. Got a drink so I can wet my whistle for all the talking. But it's on my. So if you want to watch it, you can go to my channel and watch it. It's about 20 minutes long, and then you can come back here and discuss. Because I'm talking about right now that there is gold found in ocean water, and ocean is one of those things. There has always been maneuvers. Oh, hey, Ulf Hagnar tribesman, shalom. I think it's international waters start 3 miles off of the coast of all coasts around the world. And so there's always been political, like who's fishing there and getting permits, and the Coast Guard guarding it, or the Navy of a thing. Oh no.
What?
Deer were eating out of our bird feeder.
Oh.
I know, that's really close to the house. Oh my gosh. Anyway, fishing rights and people, having to get permits to go fishing, and having to know the boundary and how far it was 3 miles away, and ships from other countries spying on your country and coming inside that international boundary. Now,
U-boats?
You can capture them, and U-boats, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
U-boats, if you capture them now, you can charge them with spying and everything. It's a big deal. And then, I don't know. Hey, Resistor, shalom. And then I think it was near the end of the 90s, maybe in the early 2000s, there was a move for people to start doing fishing offshore. That, for whatever reason, your rivers and your ponds are polluted, and so getting fresh fish gets harder and harder. And someone had decided to try fishing in the ocean, and they had these huge contraptions. Of course, they were like hanging nets, and they were in the salt water. And so you put the baby fish in there, and you throw the food in there, and then you can come back when they're bigger and scoop them out and keep them. And I thought at that time, like in the 90s and 2000, that might be a good time to actually buy stock in a company that did that. Hey, Palmetto Paratrooper, shalom. Shalom.
Hi, Billy.
Neil Hermites says hi, Billy. I thought back then in the 90s and in the, around 2000, that it would be a really smart thing to get stock in companies that were going to fish out in the ocean, because I saw the future of producing fish being, at least for, salmon and tuna and things like that, being fishing farms out in the ocean. And so some places are looking to do salination. Wondered what the fascination with the gold is beyond money usage. I talk about that in the video. I think the fascination is its color. Seriously. Because it's the only metal that is that golden hue. And it reminds us of warmth, of like sunlight and light, about fire, how fire looks. I think that might have something to do with it. I told my dad to put his 401k into eBay when I was 11. He didn't take your advice, right? He'd be a rich man now. What religion do I practice? Techno quilt. Okay. It's hard. It's called the Way. We call it the Way. And the easiest way to explain it is we believe the Bible, the whole thing. And we believe in doing the things in the Bible that the Father says we should be doing.
In the Old Testament.
In the Old Testament, and also in the New. So that's the simplest way to explain it. Another description for it is Messianic Torah observant Israelite.
We're really not Messianic.
But really, we're not Messianic. So you're a Messianic / Christian. I'm sure it's pretty much very similar. We keep the Shabbat. We keep the laws. We do the feasts, things like that.
If it's not written in the King James, we don't do it.
Right. If it's not in the Word, we don't do it. You're watching the video on PC and chatting on the phone. I tried to get my PC to work so I wouldn't have to do this chat on my phone, and it just won't hook up. Tried to find the scriptures book you used. It's put out by a South African company, and it's called The Scriptures. I don't have mine here. I'd look it up for you. Anyway, back to the ocean and gold. Some people try to do desalination like desert people in order to get fresh water. I wonder how much power and effort it would take to get gold out of the ocean water. That's a, and is that a future thing? I don't know that it is. I think, like I say in the video, it's much more interesting to me that China, who is a big producer of gold, is going to have one of the world's biggest particle colliders coming up in like 2019, I mean this year or maybe next year, and that you can make gold from mercury and palladium with a collider. I think that's the bigger thing. Excuse me. I like to use an equation to explain my beliefs. Christianity, paganism, versus paganism, Judaism, and minus. Okay, Palmetto, I get it. I think I can scroll back. Okay. Christianity minus paganism plus Judaism minus the Talmud. Yeah, that's another good thing. What are you talking about? Can I know? Okay, Rebha Thimia. I had a video premiere. It was supposed to come out at 7 o'clock my time, but I set the time wrong. It came out at 6. It's called Gold. Why does it matter? And it's on my channel. You can go there and watch it. It's about 20 minutes long. People dredge the channels and beds where the ocean meets freshwater. None of your biz. I know people go there too, because there's, it's a very rich environment, and like fish and minerals and everything are deposited, I'm sure shells and everything, but I never thought about the fact that gold might be deposited there as well. That is a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm going to try to set this phone down, hopefully too crazy, so I don't have to actually hold the phone. See if I can still... Yeah, that's a terrible point of view. Okay.
DVDs are on my plate holder thing next to you. And then move the lamp with the table.
Hang on. We're working technical things here right now, folks. Stay tuned. All right, let's try that. It needs to be up higher, though. See? You can help if you want. Hey, from Laura, how are you? Shalom. Hey, there's Spad's mom. Howdy from Tennessee. How is the weather there? Are you guys still really, really wet? Because we are. And we're cold now, too. All right, so then what? Oh, hold on. I'll be there in a minute. I'll put that over there. Okay, that's a
I'll move the lamp so they can see better.
Right, but I can't. I need to be closer.
And I'll move the lamp so they can see your face.
Is this really live? Yes, Justino, it is. I decided to do a live stream because I knew the video, once it was done playing, was going to revert to just a normal video on my channel. And so that's why I wanted to be available for a live stream after it played in case you guys wanted to talk about it. It's good to see you. All right, now we're going to try to turn this chair a little bit so I can talk to you guys without having to turn my head. Here we go. Got the big comfy chair. There we go. Okay. All right, let me scroll back through your comments real quick so I can see if anybody asked a question. I'm enjoying this. Well, good. Hello, Bonnie. Shalom. Deborah? Yeah, East Tennessee saying hello. Hello. Oh, all right. Happy birthday, Sister Amanda. Here we go. All right. That may be too harsh of a light.
Nope.
You don't think?
Nope, I don't think.
Do I need to repost questions from the previous chat? If you can, yeah. If you watch the video, I would love to answer some questions about it. I like that better. It's easier for my eyes too.
Okay.
Oh, resistor, you're in Tennessee too.
There we go.
Lunette the Clown? I didn't understand. Lunette the Clown. What that is. Can we see your dog, please? I'm at the Neo Hermitessa's house, so my dogs are not here. Her dogs are here, and they're running around all over the place. But I'm afraid to call one over because of how he just put this chair up that might knock it down. So sorry. Yeah, no. Natasha's birthday. Well, you said, oh, Amanda. It's Amanda talking. Okay. Happy birthday, Natasha. All right. So just Dano. She's 7. Oh my gosh. She's getting old. Older. Huh. That's awesome. So just Dano, you saw the video? Yeah, repost your questions here. Angela, right? It's very, very interesting. Why did the cow run? I don't know. Questions? Okay. Okay, ask Sam to show the bathroom I sent him. Sam, you got that picture?
Yeah, he did a really good job.
Because he has no leg. My Ginger's farm, shalom. With this being the 7th year and your fields being untended, what about the animals? What do you mean by that, Justino? We don't really have work animals per se. And I don't know that the animals are part of the Shemitah. I think it's just your land that needs a rest. Or do you mean, are the animals going to be able to go into the garden and eat stuff that's growing there? Is that your point? Yeah, Angela, if you have any questions or comments about the video. Animals and land, Justino. I don't remember there being a thing about the animals.
There's not.
Yeah, I don't think it includes them. Like if you had workhorses and stuff, I don't think that's part of the deal. Does shalom mean blessings? Good question, Michigan Susan. No, it does not. It means peace. So basically, if I said shalom out, I'd be saying peace out. Okay? And the word shalom, even when you say it, it kind of reverberates. We had a friend who was a paramedic, and when he went into very chaotic situations, he would say shalom when he went into the house in order to try to calm things down. Angela, you were unaware of gold, right? I mean, even Pastor and I, who, you know, we've had a small interest in gold and South Africa and the politics going on there and the Boer War and everything. Thought South Africa was still the like #1 producer of gold, and they had the whole Second Boer War was about their gold production because England wanted to control it, and it's one of the reasons that, you know, jewelry has gold and just all that stuff about the price of it and the blood. No, those are diamonds, blood diamonds. Just kind of the politics of gold and how South Africa used to be such a large part of it. And then that's why when we started gold, and I conversation that we got into, but then I just went to Wikipedia, like, okay, let's look at gold. Let's just take a peek at it. And these facts started coming up. We were like, China, because for the longest time, the U.S., Fort Knox, our money was gold based, and we were a financial powerhouse in the world. And China, when I was in college and I did a world studies class, the instructor made sure to make the point with us that China has a very long view, like as a culture and a really long time. And there's been different influences, like Japan invading them and Russia invading them, and the whole opium wars, and just, but China has China, and they still are very insular, very closed off. And even now that there's capitalism in China, they're still communist. They still have their, did China get our gold too? I don't think so. Now, somebody posted a little bit earlier that they heard Fort Knox was empty, but when I did my research for the video, it said, as I said, 6% of the world's gold is in the depository for the Federal Reserve Bank in New York City, and another 3% are at Fort Knox. So China is producing its own gold. You know what I'm saying? Like, they, for whatever reason, maybe their industrial structure wasn't as sophisticated, and now that they've kind of been stealing technology and also, working on getting themselves into the 20th century and the 21st century, they're probably mining more. They're a huge country. I mean, they have lots and lots of land and their own minerals and a desert and rivers, and, just, it's a huge country, just like Russia is a huge. They may be just tapping into finding out where in their country gold is and mining it. They also have a huge hand in Africa, and Africa has lots of minerals as well. So that's why I'm saying, like, you follow the gold and you start seeing political influence that was there, but you didn't know why. Wasn't it in 1933? Whoa. I'm checking your stuff. Excuse me. Russia's one of the top producers. They're like in the top 5. When our government told Americans they couldn't have more than $100 worth of personal gold. Spaz Mama, I'm sorry, I have not heard that before, so I'm not sure. I do know that it was around 1913 when Congress started printing our money, and constitutionally, Congress is who is supposed to be printing our money so that our country doesn't go into debt. And so they turned the printing of our money over to the Federal Reserve Bank, and our national debt started back then. Okay. What did you think, Teresa? Will you come in as a mod? Also, We Tree Bonsai, I can't appoint him as a mod because I'm on my phone. I don't have that option on here. I got to put you as a mod on the computer, but I can't get hooked up on the computer. $20 per troy ounce, and then raised rate to $36 an ounce that same year, taking Americans. I do know we used to have a $20 gold coin that was part of our, money. And raise it. China is making deals all over the world. They sure are. And see, they have that long view, and they've been waiting till they became a powerhouse. And when they figured out communism wasn't going to do it for them, they turned over to capitalism, and they've exploded. They have become that powerhouse. And my son said that recently, within the last, 5-10 years, China bought the Jeep, the whole franchise, like the whole thing. And they're coming out with a new Jeep this year called the Gladiator, which is the pickup truck version, which hasn't been made in probably 30 years. And they're going to be producing Jeeps in China, and all the people who live there are going to be able to drive them around. They're an awesome car. So, wow, China is maybe been waiting a long time to become the world powerhouse that they're setting themselves up to be. Until next time, great job, Sister Kate. Thank you, Ulf. I can't even pronounce your name. Ulf Haydar. Ulf Haydar Tribesman. Thanks for dropping by. Isn't there a passage that says they threw their gold and silver in the street for lack of food? Now, are you talking about in the Word? Because I don't remember that passage, but that doesn't mean you're wrong. You might want to just Google it real quick, and if you do find it in there, please share it. Palmetto, I'd love to appoint you as one, but I can't do it. Like, you can, I was going to say, you can let people know when they're stepping out of line, but without having my computer, I can't appoint you as a mod. I can't do it on my phone. Let me see this. Sister Kate, Shofar Mountain. Whoa. What was that? Can you add him later when you are on the main computer, please? Yeah, I can do it later. Yeah, absolutely, I could do that. Did you find out about North Carolina's gold rush? By the way, I have a Jeep too. Yes, North Carolina's gold rush, which I found very interesting. I did not know that, because when you think of gold rushes in America, you think of 1848, of course, the California gold rush. I didn't do deep research into it now. I just saw it and put it in the video, if that's what you're asking, Angela. If you know anything about it, go ahead, share. USA, USA, USA. None of your biz. How's the weather up there? Anyway, gold rush in North Carolina displaced American. I don't doubt that. And the interesting thing, and even Virginia, was when the country was first getting started, like, 1700s, the Cherokee and other natives in the eastern part of the country were getting along okay with the people who had been living there for a while. And then you start getting more and more people coming over from Europe, and that's when the displacement stuff starts happening. That's when people are trying to make the deal to sign away land and to give them stuff that's not very valuable, and they started getting pushed kind of south into the west. Sunrises have been pretty awesome. We've had some awesome sunrises here. They reopened a gold mine 10 miles from me in South Carolina. Thank you for sharing that. Was that recent, Palmetto Paratrooper? That's pretty interesting. Okay. Thought there was a gold rush in Fort Cali or Alaska. I did not see that in my research, but that doesn't mean it's not true, Grandma. Ginger's farm. It'd be interesting to look up. I just heard about the $5 Indians. Angela, share. What did you hear about it? The other interesting thing about China and the gold production is that, because when I read they were going to start a collider, I thought, why? Like, we hear almost no news out of Belgium now, and they made a huge deal about the collider. I think
CERN's in Switzerland.
Oh, CERN's in, there was one in Belgium.
Maybe, but CERN's in
I think it
Switzerland.
runs through a couple countries, doesn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so my bad. I thought it was in Belgium.
You're thinking that
Yeah, it's in-
we
Because
know that
Sam,
who wanted to work there.
right, there was a guy. Okay, so CERN's in Switzerland. Sorry, but we're not hearing any news out of there. and if you're particle colliding, they're supposed to be creating new uh, atomic elements, right? They're supposed to be making new kinds of metal with this collider, and maybe even new kinds of nuclear stuff. And we hear nothing about it. And then when China says they're going to make an even bigger one, I thought, wow, it seemed like the one in Switzerland's doing a whole lot. Why would you spend all that time and effort making it? Until I found out about the gold. And then it started to make some sense. Oh, thank you, Nunya Biz. Good luck in your meeting. Thanks for swinging by. Oh no, Travis, I'm sorry. How's your jaw doing? My internet was so slow I couldn't get online with the computer. I had to use the phone. An honest scientist feels more ignorant than anyone else on Earth. Okay. Well, they get to holler first with the super collider. I think China's going to start producing more gold with that super collider. I think that's probably one of the reasons they did it, as well as maybe trying to figure out some other nuclear things. And as they are the biggest producers in the world, they're going to be even bigger. That may devalue our dollar or even the world economy in such a way that China becomes the only superpower and the rest of us are struggling to catch up.
The dollar's not on the gold standard.
It's not on the gold standard, but it still affects the way the economies run. People are still selling jewelry made from gold and things coated in gold, and satellites are part of the heat shielding on satellites is made from gold. So gold is still valuable. That was another thing that I found really interesting, was that the satellites heat shielding is made partially from gold. And so as more satellites, gold's still going to be, something that people want. And I believe they use them in laptop computers too, don't they? I think you can do, like if you turn your laptop into someone who's going to scrap it, I think they take it apart and take out whatever little gold conductors or whatever they have in there. So when you know just enough to know you know nothing. Well, I don't know that I know nothing. So I'm not an honest scientist. Especially now that they're in Africa, right? Oh my gosh. Hey, 78 Sound Shalom. I didn't realize I had to scroll through all this. They may produce more gold, but one molecule at a time. Colliders only work on a subatomic level. Good points. Hello from upstate New York, where we are having high winds and snow. 6 foot tonight. Hey, Edward Healy, shalom. Thank you for coming, and thank you for taking care of Homesteader Exchange. I really appreciate that. It's good to see you, and I'm sorry you're having such tough weather. Gold is a good conductor. It's a good conductor of electricity and of heat. I think that was also in there. Hey, Chasing Life. Shalom. Copper too, right? And they put copper, some of the first copper used as the bottom of a boat was done right after the Revolutionary War, right around in that time when Paul Revere was making the silver. He was a silversmith. He started working with copper too, and he figured out that it wouldn't rust, and they started to put it on the bottom of boats. 6 degrees in upstate New York. Oh, keep warm. Keep warm, brother. Our temperature today went from like 50 all the way down to 34 right before I got up here, and it's going to be not sub-zero, but it's going to be less sub-freezing next week. In the evenings, it's going to be, I think one of the days is going to be 13, and for our area, that's really cold. That's why there is gold in wiring. Ooh, you need gold. That's interesting, isn't it? And I think the fracking issue is also really, really interesting because, you know, when Matt Damon's out there protesting on the fracking and it destroys groundwater and it leaves pollutants and it causes disturbances. Did anybody think that they might also be finding gold at the same time? I don't ever remember hearing anything about that, but it's one of those side effects, that and of earthquakes. So places like California with lots of earthquakes, makes sense you'd be looking for gold around there too, right? 70 here. Palmetto paratrooper. A food forest is better than a 401k plan. That's a really interesting thing. Because if you can have both, I think you should. I think there's nothing wrong with having smart economic to own life. It allows you some freedom and some flexibility right now when things are not as hard as they're going to be. And when Trump got elected, I mean, it was almost guaranteed the economy was going to do better, even though lots of people make videos about how the economy's bad. With unemployment at the lowest rates it's been in a long, long time, the economy is strong. And so if you are making money right now, I think that's great. You know, it allows you to be able to put up more preps if you want to. It will allow you to buy land if you need to, or more animals. But that food forest is also valuable because it's never going to not be needed. I guess I use a lot of double negatives. So I guess the reverse of that would be to say it's always valuable to produce your own food. You save money that way. You can look after your health that way. You're going to be able to sustain yourself and your family over time because, as Pastor Joe likes to say, everybody's got to eat. You need to drink water and you need to eat and you out of the weather so that you're healthy. And if you can provide your own food, it's just a great thing. Okay. Yep, Massachusetts is 6 degrees, 19 and snowing here. You guys, woo, you're getting slammed. Most people finding gold are not going to be sharing that knowledge. I wouldn't. I would not let anyone know I had gold if I found it. Just because the situation, I think the farm out in California where that whole gold rush started, that farm was like destroyed, had all those people living on it. Cold is very bad at my age. And all that, we have 4 foot of snow on the ground. Yeah, Edward, I can't blame you for wanting to look south. As we get longer in the tooth, you know, that warm weather starts looking better. Your pears and peaches have been budding for over a week. Oh, maybe I can do something. Oh, hang on, Palmetto. I might be able to do something. Might be able to make you a moderator. Put user in timeout, hide user on this channel. Okay. I can't make you a moderator, but I can get rid of people. That's good to know too, because I didn't know I could do that if I tapped on your comments. Another great investment is buying land. They are not making more. Hallelujah. Weed Tree Bonsai, that's so true. The demand for food will never diminish. That's true, and it's going to keep going up as the population goes up. If you can, how do you really control that wealth? I'm not a 401k plan. That's a good point as well, because if you put your money in something like the stock market, which is very, very nebulous, it's just sort of a trust. You're just trusting that money's there. Really, if you put it in the bank, it's the same thing. And the depression in the 1930s came when people said, you know what, I want to physically hold my money. Banks did not physically have as much money in them as the people had deposited. And so that's what caused that run on the bank, is that people wanted their money and already invested it and were hoping for, a return on the investment. And we're counting on not everybody demanding their money be pulled out all at once. So there is a certain truth to the fact that if you have your money in something like a 401k or a business, that money really could disappear. The business suffer some sort of like a gas explosion, and if you're not insured, there goes all your money. And the same thing with the running Greece. All those people thought their money was safe there. The Greek banks said, we're not even going to let you. We're not going to let you. We're going to close our. That doesn't help you. It really. There's a certain wisdom to having things like a food forest or your own property, so that when the banks do something like that, you have some recourse in your life. I think I could survive eating 3 times a week, but I gotta have water. Everybody has to have fresh water. There's a political thing there. We're seeing, what's happening with the gold, but also what's happening with the water. Some states say, it's illegal to catch rain. Some states say you're not allowed to have your own well. You have to, you have to get on like city water or county water. And I'm sure the reasoning they're using is that, we can make sure your water is safe. But it's 3 days without water. You can go 3 weeks without food, but it's only 3 days. More and more valuable as more and more people grow. And it's really weird to think about what they do to our water. Like when you're on city water, they are treating it with tons of chemicals, and they're taking dirty water and making it clean for you to drink. It's kind of weird. Stock up on food, learn to grow it, and learn to forage for it. Hallelujah, right? Weeds, there's so many weeds that are edible. And most people don't eat weeds. And so if you know how to pick the weeds that are edible and are good for you, you're going to be so far ahead of the people who food from a grocery store. We have streams loaded with fool's gold, and then there are the fools in the state government of New York. Yeah, it's true, brother. When you guys let the Clintons move up there, woo! Hawaii is making more land. That's kind of funny. Okay. That is what your mods do. They keep the room clean and family friendly. Right? And I didn't know that I could do that too, We Tree Bonsai. If I just clicked on your name, I can do it as well. But yeah, I will make Palmetto Paratrooper one the next time I'm on my computer. What kind of things would you plant in a forest? Sorry, but my computer is limping along without important punctuation marks. That's fine. What kind of things would you plant in a forest? Well, I know this much. You want some long-term food as well as, things you have to plant. So you want fruit trees and nut trees, because once they're mature, 5 to 7 years, unless it's a dwarf variety, and the dwarf variety fruit trees will begin to bear fruit in your 2nd and 3rd year. Once they start producing, they produce a lot. So you definitely want to have some trees and bushes like blueberries and gooseberries and what other bushes? Blackberry canes and raspberry canes, because they grow and they produce more each year. Now you also need to do pruning. You can't have trees and bushes and things without pruning them, because pruning them allows them to have new growth each year, things like that. Then if you're going to have a food forest, you're going to want to look at some of the heirloom type variety plants, so come back every year. And I've talked about them in my gardening videos on my channel, but one of them, walking onion. Once you put it in the ground, it grows a stalk. On top of the stalk, there's more little onions, and then the whole thing falls over and it plants itself and it keeps going. I also have on my property right now these little cherry tomatoes, and I don't even know where they came from. They might have been in the mulch that we got. That every year put out tons of little cherry tomatoes, but I make sure to let some fall on the ground, and every year they come back up. And so you're going to want food like that. My daughter said potatoes because potatoes, once you plant a few, if your soil is good, they will make a growth. They will keep going, and you'll get way more out of the ground than you put in. But I've never tried to do a perennial thing with potatoes. I don't know if you left a potato in the ground year after year, if it would continue to produce that way or not. All right. Got some acres in Texas. Still got the mouse problem, though. Yeah. Oh. I was thinking about, I told you some of the things to do with your traps. But there are some really good mouse traps that include 5-gallon buckets of water. And I think one of them is you have like a piece of toilet paper roll or PVC pipe, and you put some peanut butter, suspended on a string. So when the mouse climbs along the string to get this peanut butter, it hits that thing that's round and it rolls and it falls down and it drowns. So the peanut butter would lure the mouse out of your car to the bucket in it. You might want to do like a YouTube search on that, because there's lots of different varieties of that. You control the food, you control the people. Right. And it talks about that number, and you're not going to be able to buy or sell the number of the beast in your hand or in your forehead. That's the main way to control people is food. So that's why there's so many theories out there that it'll be somebody like a China Mart that has food, and is nationwide, that's going to be able to do the mark of the beast. Money in the bank is also trust. Right, it is. So are China and Dubai? Not sure what you were talking about there, Pastor. Okay, good job, Weed Tree Bonsai. Silver, food, water, and other barter items include brass stuff. Maybe good. Something else we were talking about as a barter item is alcohol. And cigarettes, because there are people who really, really are going to be jonesing for those after the fall. But if you've tried to make something like wine before the fall, and you've done it successfully, needing a bunch of equipment, then you can probably make it after the fall, and you'll be one of those places where people will be coming to get it. I look at it more from the medical point of view. How are you going to do anesthesia if you, right? I don't know anything about ether, so whiskey would be great. So as someone who's interested in the medical side of things, I see alcohol being very useful that way. Set apart homestead, that's funny. All right, Weed Tree, good job. Throw them out. Land being made is strategic, not really productive, except for the uber rich. So I look at things like that, and I think about the uber rich, and then I also think about the French Revolution. That happened for a reason, right? That happened for a reason. You get enough poor people starving, and sometimes it can get really ugly if you don't pay attention. Really fast, exactly. So the only difference now is our uber rich copter fly Tahiti or whatever, but that means their Long Island mansion and all their acreage, they can't protect it. They're not there. They've flown to Tahiti. So will it be there when they get back? I don't know. I also use alcohol vodka for making tinctures. Exactly. But vodka is just, an alcohol you make from a potato, right?
Yes.
So maybe, in some states it's illegal to make stuff like that right now, but if there was a huge national emergency, maybe people would be willing to overlook that. New York State is talking about legalizing prostitution. Really time to leave, and we are waiting for April. Well, you definitely don't want to leave now, Edward, because your weather is awful. Nevada said that legalized prostitution for a while. And pardon?
I said, and they're doing fine.
Right. My point being, they obviously have ironed out whatever problems they have with it. If you're a Torah believer, you're not really going to be excited about prostitution. But I'm sure the world doesn't care. So I get it. New York State, it's just a mess. I get it, brother. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say they've got it going on. All those on mood-changing drugs scare me. Right? Oh my gosh, yeah. And the drugs like Oxycontin that get people addicted and just ruin their lives and everyone around them to have that drug. My son and a friend of his were driving to Florida, and there was some sort of version of a fake marijuana down there that was highly addictive, and people were waiting in line at pawn shops to sell things that they had to go buy that fake marijuana. And I don't remember even what it is called.
K9, I think, or K10 or
K10 something, but they were setting up pain clinics where you could go in to get it. Like they were making it like available. Like, and those people are, they're going to be very, very hard to control if they don't get what they want. Okay. Hey, C103, shalom. I guess you made it back safely. Yeah, our bridge does look great. Thank you for saying that, Pastor. Yes, thank you so much for making that. I really smile every time I walk across it. I mean, it was sort of challenging to just walk on the railroad tie. And I thought, how many more years will I be able to do that? But that bridge, I'll be able to pull my wagon across that and everything. I really appreciate that. Yep, exactly. Eledwin Mayor. Wait till they can't get their drugs. Ooh, spasmodic. That's a good point, too. I never really thought about that. People in mental hospitals for the criminally insane who might be turned loose. Or the opposite is the horror that it would be if the electricity goes out and they can't open those doors, and how many people would be trapped, like in prisons and stuff, and not be able to get them out and them starve to death in there. Ooh, that would just be horrible. Maybe a valuable skill to learn is moonshine. That's good. I'm not exactly saying that, but set apart homestead, but I'm also not exactly not saying that. I'm just saying that there are certain alcohols that besides drinking can be very valuable, like for tinctures and for putting people, anesthetic when you can't get a hold of, whatever the name of that aesthetic is. Sorry. Vabassar Outdoors. Hello, everyone. Shalom. Right. The pain clinics in Florida are lead dealers. Mimosa tincture is a great tincture for PTSD.
Where is it written?
Where is it written that mimosa tincture is a good? Do you have a reference, bonsai? Oh my gosh. Bourbon. Make bourbon. You have to have corn for bourbon and whiskey. Vodka's made from potatoes, and gin is made from juniper berries. I thought it was the vermouth. Okay. Somewhere around you full of juniper berries. Oh my gosh. Oh, I see what you're saying, Angela. You're saying it would be good as a sanitizer. Yes, it would, but there's other ways to do sanitizers that would probably be easier, which would be boiling water and soap. But I get it. Okay, pressure canners can be used as an autoclave to sterilize. That's a really good point. I like that. I don't know that I had remembered that. Home Library book from about the 1920s. Hang on. Teaches the old ways of doing most everything. Okay, thank you. Back to Basics by Reader's Digest is a really good readings too. I don't know if it's technically the old ways, but it's definitely everything from like how to train your horse, raising chickens and everything else. Okay. I thought sour mash was from corn. Yep. And some of that whiskey making. Wild lettuce decoction is a tremendous pain. That's true. That's true. Painkiller. And I just read about it too. You have to make something, right? Because some painkillers are something you put on the skin, and then other ones, you know, like aspirin, you have to eat. Foxfire books for the old ways, that's good too. Shalom Brandy. People are getting killed in Venezuela right now fighting over foods and meds. I heard that they were having shortages. Food and meds, when they're in shortage, it brings out the panic in people. You know, if your child needs an asthma med or they're going to have a terrible attack, and the only way you can get it is to break into that pharmacy and steal it, people are willing to do that. If I think about brandy much longer, I think I'll go grab some. You know, Angela, that's funny because I used to drink a brandy drink that was peach brandy or apricot brandy mixed with orange juice. It was really kind of my kind of drink, fruity and sweet and yet kind of strong. I once had a hard cider from apples that was very strong. Good point. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Apple cider can turn into, you know, hard apple cider. So lemonade can turn into hard lemonade, all those things. Love the lime stream, by the way. Oh, Sam, that is so sweet. Thank you for saying that. It makes me feel better because I showed up to my own premiere and I was like 10 minutes late because I got the time wrong, even though I tried to be in. So thank you. It makes me feel better that you enjoy it. Did Sam show you my bathroom floor yet, or should I text the photo to PJ? No, he didn't show me, but he said you did a wonderful job, Palmetto Paratrooper. He said it looked very professional. We've been using wild lettuce for arthritis, pain. Hang on. I got to get back to the...
What is wild lettuce?
I can show it.
You from this one.
No, it's the wild lettuce. I can show you the plant this summer. I got it on the screen so I can read. For arthritis pain in the last year, and it's wonderful to get away from the chemical pain, ibuprofen or Aleve. Yay. I'm glad to hear that because, you know, I'm getting pretty tired of having to take acetaminophen. It doesn't really upset my stomach as long as I take it with food and or something, well, food definitely, and something also to drink. But if I take acetaminophen by itself, it tears my stomach up. So I really need to look into that harder. My grandfather has raspberry wine from his home garden. Grandma did not like that. I wonder why, because I loved my wild grape wine, and I don't like sweet wine.
She probably hated that he had a source of wine right there.
Oh, maybe that she just didn't want him to drink the wine? Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody said. Peach brandy. I've had jar drink. Boots off. I don't want to knock my boots off, though. I have time keeping my balance without being all liquored up. Greetings, saints. Hey, M4 Johnny. Shalom. I don't know what ghost pipe is, Wee Tree Bonsai. Now, are you in Japan? Or do I remember correctly that you are in Japan? Is that something we could get here? How are you using the lettuce? Shalom, Tank. Okay, Set Apart Homestead, you've heard of ghost pipe before? You're not in Japan. Okay, so you're not the same person I thought, or maybe you came back. It grows in the forest all over America? Man, I need to make a note and go to Google Images and see what that guy looks like so I can start seeing if it's in my area. Oh, goodness. So, did anybody else watch the gold premiere? And if you did you have any other comments about that? I occasionally use wild lettuce for my spinal cord pain. It works very well. Do you use it as a tea, though, Set Apart Homestead? Or is it something you apply? Oh, here comes the bathroom photo. Thank you. My gosh. That is really nice looking, Palmetto Paratrooper. Do you mind if I show it online? Impressed. Hey, Marlo, shalom. Monotropa uniflora. It's ghost pipe. All right, I'm going to show it anyway. Look at, he did a great job doing this bathroom floor. Wow. The resin of the lettuce is where the medicine is. I knew that. I knew the resin was where it is. And you know what? I'm pretty sure I looked that up once online, I think you had to boil it and things. Shalom, Sister Gate. Just, every time I touch this thing, it takes me to the wrong. You and Sister Donna are a great asset to the community. Thanks, Bruce. Shalom. How you doing? This is the third time I've seen you on my live streams. I really appreciate you showing up. Just a few minutes a year. Something crowned. The gold video was good. Thank you, Timothy Brown. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear it. Also, since you guys are here on the live stream, if you have any questions about Torah, about solar power and stuff like that, go ahead and ask them. I add decoction into a cup of water and drink. And it's kind of like a tea, right? It's like you boiled it down and then. Hey, Wes. Shalom. Oh, Pastor says he has not seen Ghost Pipe. Did you mute yourself? I have a lot growing out back. I've looked into preparation, but I've never tried it. Yep, ibuprofen also bothers my GI, chasing life. That's why I forget these things, and then when people bring it back up, I'm like, oh yeah, I've read about that. I should look into that. Tincture the wild lettuce because it's easier, but the resin can be smoked if you need a lot of fast pain relief. Ooh, I don't know if I'd do that to my lungs, Set Apart, but I hear ya. Smoke wild lettuce for the pain.
You're talking about me.
No, honey, no.
Okay, fine.
Wild lettuce? I told you I'd show you what it is. It looks kind of like dandelion.
You can smoke it? Come on.
For pain, the resin is a pain reliever. Dry it thoroughly, Angela's saying. It's a colorless flowering plant that likes deep leaf litter. Well, it should be in our area, Marlo. Hey, MI Prepper, shalom, shalom. Thank you, Wes. Colorless flowering plant that likes deep leaf litter. Oh, y'all reminded me of something. I'm glad you guys brought this up. Brought you a gift.
What is it?
I mentioned this in a... I think it's probably worth checking it out. It's a National Geographic herbal.
I'll put it up in my much.
There you go. And this is your return from last year.
From last year?
Yeah. I think
I got my return.
Maybe the year before. I didn't know if you needed it or not.
Wait, so did I not? They would have sent me a picture.
Yeah, I think you did. I think last year was one of those weird years where you were not happy with your return and then... you decided to claim yourself and whatever. We're off. I'll stop talking about that online. They don't need to know about that. Daryl Patton, the Southern herbalist, is a great teacher. Okay. Take it internally in a tincture. The tea is awful tasting. I imagine. That's one reason why I don't eat wild lettuce. I'm not keen on the resin flavor. But if it's going to be a pain reliever that doesn't upset my stomach, then I guess I'll be willing to do it. Dry it thoroughly will be no problem. I have a dehydrator that works great. I'm taking notes here. I have sciatica and I do not use opioids. I agree with you, Spaz Mama. I've used opioids is when I knew the length that I was going to take them was going to be limited. That is not something I would, if I had back pain, I would try very hard to deal with it with something other than an opioid because they are so addictive. When I had my brain surgery, they gave me some medicine just in the first couple of days when I asked for it. And after those first couple of days, I said, okay, I'm done. Like, I don't want to keep having to do that. So I go down to acetaminophen, and then, when the pain is, because I look at it like this. If I have an incision like 19 stitches long in the back of my head. If there's a certain amount of pain, it's healing. And each day the pain gets less. Completely mask that pain, then you don't know if it's going to be healing or not. And you can trace, if Friday it hurts this much, then Saturday it's a little bit less, and then Sunday it's a little bit less. And if you mask all that, you don't know if you're actually healing correctly or not. So, hey now, Pastor Joe. I don't know if I want to put that out over on the net. Shalom, Janice. Nice to see you. Okay. I only use 1 drop to keep the pain under control. That's got to be a strong thing, Wee Tree. Forgot, should not have mentioned my supper to the Torah observant. Sorry.
Oh, well, we don't care what you mean.
Ghost pipe does not grow in the Ozarks. Oh, does grow, very hard to find. Usually not moist enough here. I don't know about this year, though, Set Apart Homestead. It's been pretty dang moist. We'll be experimenting on young Billies very soon. Spinal pain. Stevia, that's a good tip. Homemakers, preppers need to learn the herbs. It is so true. Pork chops. Get out of here with that unclean food, M.I. prepper. Get out of here. We had lamb chops, yes, and they were delicious, and the Lord approves of them as food for his creation. Wes is going into the goat bacon business, maybe. I love that idea. I think that's a great idea. Because bacon is just a smoked, salted. That's why beef bacon tastes great. And turkey bacon, although, the consistency, the texture is not the greatest thing, it tastes fine. So there is no reason why people shouldn't be making sheep bacon and venison bacon and all sorts of things. Just like pickling is not just for cucumbers. You can have pickled peppers. You can have pickled cauliflower. You can have pickled onions. Pickling is the process. It's not just a cucumber. So, Wes, I hope you do that. I think that's a great idea. Sam would buy some. I'd probably buy some too, Wes, if it was something that you could send to us. We'll be experimenting on young Billies very soon. Make them wethers, though, I think. Yeah, make them more like a steer, and that way they won't be as goaty strong tasting, and then your bacon will be a milder flavor instead of tasting, like a billy goat. That's my suggestion to you, Wes. I've got to scroll through all the. Where's my assistant? I should have an assistant here. Tell are. And my prepper, I'm glad to hear you did not get addicted. Pain is weakness leaving the body. I have a lot of weakness in me. Yeah, and I'm noticing weaknesses where I didn't have weaknesses when I was 30. Right now from hauling scrap lumber that we were scavenging. Sheep bacon, thought it wouldn't cure. I don't think it wouldn't cure it, but I think, I don't know the process. I have not made my own bacon, but I would think if you salt it first and then smoke it, it should cure it. But I don't know. Mexican barbecued goat cabrito is good. I've heard selling your baby goats around Easter. A lot of people are making the honor to be part of the premiere. Manuel Ricardo, welcome. Thank you. Premiere actually happened for me. I'm on Central Time. It happened I wanted it to be 7 o'clock, so I was kind of late to my own premiere, even though I got here an hour early. So I guess it showed at 7 Eastern Time. But the video is up on my channel now. So if you didn't actually make it to the premiere, you can go to the channel to watch it. It's about 20 minutes long. And I did this live stream afterwards because I was only in my own chat room at my premiere for like 6 minutes. And I thought, well, people are probably going to want to talk about it. And I did a live stream right after. But shalom. Thank you for coming. Haha, punny. Grandma Ginger's farm, you've made bacon? Manuel, is Brother Manny? Is Brother Manny the refrigerator, Brother Manny? Living with chronic pain sucks. I imagine it does. And I don't have chronic pain, so I can only say just experimentally how I think I would deal with it. I do have a on and off pain in my feet, and I have to be very careful how I deal with them because I don't want it to get to a point where I have it all the time. And changing my shoes helped a lot. But I'm just not as strong as I used to be, and I have to be very careful about what I lift. If I lift stuff too heavy for me and I start straining things. So I stopped going to doctors when they told me I was going to kill myself with how I live. That I would rather work hard and die happy than sit around. And hopefully working hard, hopefully what, kind of behavior cause you to go to an early grave would be sitting around doing nothing. And I don't mean that in the way that came out. I hope you guys understand what I meant there. Not refrigerator Manny. Okay, sorry. That was Emmanuel. Okay, I just you guys need. I don't say the wrong thing. Barbecuing goats has been a Jewish thing forever. Ha ha ha. Yes, it has. And I had somebody make a comment on a video, and I can't remember if it was my video or someone else's. Very upset because I referred to my children as my kids. And did you know that's not a respectful term for your offspring? They're never called kids in the Bible, and so you're wrong for calling, your children the same name as the offspring of a goat. And I came back with the reply, you've kind of overlooked that part in the Bible where that acceptable offering for Yahweh at the temple. Just saying. Chronic pain is that last raw nerve before you kill something. I get very loud when I need to emote. I think I was screaming and yelling a lot, and the neighbors would be unhappy with me. Shalom, Tandem. I'm not going to go through all the numbers. Shalom. Bless you. I visited Brother Chris at the Rock several times. And he does mention you, brother. And we've been on there a couple of times on his live streams and seen you commenting. So thank you and bless you for helping him out. You know, I family. And I think the proper way for us to behave is to help each other out. Like C103 did. He came out and helped us out to make a bridge across our part of our property. Nice job, brother. It's just salting well and then hanging. Smoking is for flavoring after. We are making some antelope bacon this fall. Hallelujah. That sounds great. And it sounds really healthy for you too. Good on you, Grandma. Ginger? Sister Kate was scratching her palm, expecting money. That's what my husband says. I'm rubbing my palms because I don't know what else, or if it's itchy, I don't know what else to do with my hands. I keep having to scroll and then I feel uncomfortable with my hands. I get seriously irritable when I'm in pain too long. I got to watch myself. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Pain is no joke. I thought bacon was pork. Janice Hackler, you know, the typical bacon that we all heard of is made of pork. But the point we're trying, bacon does not have to be just one kind of meat. That's why you can have beef bacon and turkey bacon. And then Wes was on here saying he's going to try making goat bacon. And Grandma said she's going to make antelope bacon. It's really the process, not so much just that meat. My kids often behave like goats. They can make quite a mess. Chasing life, I would get all of them outside and have them run around the house multiple times just to get them tired, if they've got that much energy. Bacon is a cut of meat, not a type of meat. Bacon is belly meat. Is it not, Palmetto Paratrooper? And then you process it so it tastes okay? I don't want to Barbie my kids, but the neighbor's kids, now there is a thought. I would love to try some goat and or beef bacon, right? And I've tried beef bacon. It was expensive. It was $8 a pound, but it was really tasty. When they had me on steroids, it made me grouchy, but my grouchy is less than people's normal, fortunately. I can be quite... Poor Pastor Joe's had to put up with sometimes my temper gets the better of me. Red hair goes to the bone. Well, both my brothers have red hair. I've got some Irish in me. Except turkey bacon, that's not bacon. I've had some good turkey bacons, but usually what they've done is taken the turkey and ground it up and then like laid it out and then done whatever to it. I think just take the turkey meat and salt it and smoke it. Don't worry about making it flat and looking like pork bacon. The only beef bacon I've seen is Smoke Bar Ranch. The beef bacon we had was produced locally, so it's not even in the like in China Mart or anything. Beef bacon is $6 a pound in the East Coast. Great live stream, Sister Kate. I got to run because hubby has the wood stove up too hot. Thank you for stopping by. That is a great idea, Sister Kate. I think there will be a snow day tomorrow. They will want to be outside all day. Let them get out there, man. That's the thing. Shut up all day long. Whenever my kids got squirrely, it's like, oh, we need to go to the park now. We need to wear you out. I do the same thing with, if we don't let them get out and stretch a little, they get too attention grubby. I don't know how else to explain it. 3/4 of my children have red hair, and Palmetto Paratrooper, you did that to yourself, brother. You enjoy that. Yep, you're amidst fire. Fire. Sorry for making this stream about bacon. It hasn't been only about bacon, brother. And it's a good topic. I enjoy talking about it. Manuel Ricardo, I think you're a very competent person. I bet you could actually make some too. I bet you could buy some beef at the store and then salt it and hang it. My human kids can be stubborn. Set apart homestead, you already have the solution to that problem. You are going to get goat kids, and then your human kids and the goat kids can be stubborn and too active together. Angela, bless you. Those redheads, I really do like them though, because my brothers had red hair. Same thing, chasing life. You are very informed, Kate. I look forward to sharing your information in the future. I think that's what it's all about in these times. I have lots of times on my hands to do research. Well, Resistor, thank you very much. Appreciate that. I try to share knowledge. I try to share wisdom to save people trouble and to get you on a path that's not going to be full of stress and strain and heartache. My beard has a little red when I grow it in. It has 4 colors, black, blonde, red, and gray. And that's how you know it's a real beard. And my prepper, usually, because Set Apart Homestead's beard is an exception to have more than one color in them. We love to build snow forts. Yeah, and take a picture, post it online, make a 3-decker snow fort. Well, Eric left, where was it? Norway, Greenland, something, and came to the Americas. There's a red-headed Y chromosome palmetto paratrooper. So what is your advice for those who waffle about believing in God? That's an interesting question, MI Prepper, because no one can convince you to believe in God. There's no one person who can convince you. There's only one way to be convinced, and that's through the Holy Spirit. Now, you can be intellectually curious. You can ask questions of someone who believes, and that knowledge may help your heart and attitude change so that maybe you want to accept the Lord. But I've talked till I blew in the face to people about Torah, about Jesus. I've given them all the logical arguments I have, and they still don't get it. The Lord has to open your eyes and your heart for you to get it, and you've got to want to get it yourself. So you ask and pray to the Father to help you believe. You don't look to another person to help you to believe. Tony, is all for us trying to make beef bacon. Go for it. I have asked the local butcher for beef bacon before, Northwest Arkansas Prepper. The person who got us the bacon here personally knew the other person who was selling it. That's the way we found it. Doing soup in the next stereotype got me wanting to take beef bacon also now. I bet your soup would be delicious too, C103. Excuse me. The bacon would really flavor it. Hearing for I have to be closer to other followers or I feel like my fire is going out. Well, that's another good point. It's a different, because I'm not saying it's not important to have fellowship. It absolutely is important to have fellowship, especially if you are a believer. The Lord tells us that we are not to keep from fellowshipping with other believers, especially as the end times get closer, because fellowshipping with others does help you stay enlivened, I guess. So does praying, so does worshiping, so does reading the word. But it's good for you. It says, oh, how something it is for believers together. It's not so much a tug on your soul. if you're around other believers. It's a lot on your soul when you're in a world that doesn't care about the Lord, doesn't want to be obedient to him, looks at you, etc. But that's different from someone else being able to make you believe. People must seek and they will receive. Knock and the door will be opened unto you. So work as I see it. I still think your focus is in the wrong place, M.I. Prepper. I think for you to understand the Holy Spirit, you should read the Word. You should definitely read the New Testament because it's more prevalent there. But the Holy Spirit is even in the Old Testament. It will like Abraham and Moses and David. It is a... Well, Jesus tells us that once he left, once he said it was a future event, but he said, when I'm going to keep my commandments, I'm going to send you a comforter. And that is what the Holy Spirit is. It is a comforter. It is a Torah uplifter, because the Holy Spirit will not ever direct you in a way that is against Torah. And there's other things in the Word about how the Holy Spirit works. So I think you really should go into the Word and my information on that. Oh, you do gray in your beard. All right, set apart homestead. It always comes across as super, super black. 1 Corinthians 6:11, notice it isn't us that performs those miracles. I feel that way too sometimes, Tandem. I am in a desert for others that follow the way. I'm sorry to hear that, Wee Tree Bonsai. You should move. You should come to the Ozarks. There's a lot. Is there a book that explains this? Teresa, I'm sorry. I don't know exactly what your book that explains what Torah is, or there are some videos you can watch if that's what you're talking about. Now I'm getting behind everybody. Janice is a new believer in Yahushua. Well, welcome, Janice. You're amongst friends here. The Holy Spirit really leads you when you allow listening. Trust no one for your salvation. Read the Word, all of it for yourself, right? When you stand in front of the Lord on judgment, you're the only ones there with you. So, how's the Word? Seek out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. It is an awesome thing. We have Zero Torah folks in our area. We have some Seventh Day, not the same. We have some Messianic 98 miles away, not the same. It's true, Wes. And so luckily, because we have the internet now, we can go online and get some Torah fellowship. There really aren't that many of us, and that's why moving somewhere where there are more is beneficial to you. I'm not saying you can't stay where you are. I'm saying if you go to where there are more, it's more beneficial to you. You get more iron sharpening iron. You get more encouragement. You get to share more Holy Spirit gifts when you're close. So that's why my husband's always saying, come out of her, my people. Like, it's not just to get you away from emergencies. It's also because if you are of this faith, then you would be closer to people who have the same faith. And the other side of that coin is we need to share our faith with others because we have the truth, the way, and we're the only ones who have it. And so in order for it to spread, we have to spread it. We have to reach out to other people and try to explain it to them. And that's not the same as getting them to accept Jesus and my prepper. It's to get them to understand Torah. So do you think reading the Bible on a regular basis will reveal it, or it just depends, as in some people just will never get it no matter how much you read it? I think once you're seeking, you will find. And the word says, seek ye, and ye, the door will be opened unto you. So I think reading the Bible will definitely help your understanding of it. And I also think praying, that you pray to the Father, that that you pray to the Father into your heart, that you want to have Jesus as your Messiah. I think all those things will help. From earlier conversation, just in a current 1 ounce U.S. gold value of $50. And I think the U.S. gold piece, when you look at old stories and things, there used to be like a gold dollar or something, a gold coin that was worth $20. I started mod work for channels to find others who follow the way. Man, you're smart. That is a really good way of doing that. I'm in the air for wanting to leave Southern California. They think I'm in violation of commission. Well, how could you be in violation of it if you're moving away? It doesn't say that the Great Commission has to be done in California. You can spread the word wherever you go. Brother Manny? Almost turned my back on Yahweh because I was so discouraged and disappointed by the contradiction. I opened my eyes to what was really written in the... There are people in Arkansas, right? Yeah, I agree. I went through the jewels. Aw, wheat tree bonsai, that's so sweet. Well, and we have to look at the brethren. We are instructed to love the brethren, and we are instructed to treat the brethren well. And it's not always easy, because even amongst the brethren, we don't see eye to eye on everything. But we are never to hate the brethren. So I get what you're saying. It's kind of hard to find your own flavor. But we can't just completely discount because of the whole world, they have more in common with us than anyone else. Well, folks, hopefully don't smash your car windows in the Ozarks. I won't miss that. I don't understand that comment. I am a believer. Jesus is my Lord and Savior. Hallelujah. Absolutely. To believe in Torah is not to negate Jesus. Torah is Jesus. Pastor's done some really good sermons on the meaning of the word. Jesus is the word. Torah is also the word. It's just a whole cycle that all fits together. And I know I've made videos where I say the Christians are getting it wrong, but the Bible doesn't get it wrong, and the Lord's plan is not wrong, because it all fits together. And Revelation 12:17 is where it's put most simply. Muslim is now hate speech. Wow, Angela, I've heard that from a lot of people. Ask questions when they were little and they never got answers. Spend the day in the Appalachians, stay with other like-minded people. Yes, building nice, being around them, peaceful to another level. Well, hallelujah, C103. I'm glad you got it. Had no real answers, and they don't. That's why I did that video about it. The training in the church has been for so long away from Torah, they really don't know how to explain it in any acceptable manner, and so they just ignore it. My wife had a smash and grab on her car a couple of days ago at the gym in our big city. Oh, okay, yeah, no. That kind of stuff happens in the big city, doesn't it? And it's no fun. It really is just no fun. I'm sorry to hear that, MI Prepper. I'm really sorry that that happened to her. Yes, sir. I was taught that the old part of the Bible is not what we should follow. It's the New Testament. That's why I am confused. Okay, Teresa. So the thing about the Bible is, the whole thing is it's just like the Betty Crocker cookbook is all recipes. The Bible is all about his people. And so it doesn't make sense when, and the reason that you don't need to study the Old Testament is because they tried to look at it with the eyes of, I'm a 1950s preacher, and the things happening in the Old Testament have nothing to do with my life. But you have to look at the Bible as the story of the Lord and his people, their relationship to each other. And when you start to look at it that way, the whole Old Testament sets up everything about God and his plan for his people and the fact that he's going to send a Messiah. And so the New Testament is just that thing happening, that the Messiah does come. And some of his people, because they're following the traditions of men, which is the Talmud, not God's commandments, are leading everybody astray in their traditions. And so when the Messiah shows up, they can't even recognize him because they've been affected by studying the traditions of the elders, the traditions. And Jesus is there trying to tell those same people, get back to the Father, get back to Torah. I follow my Father's commands. If you love me, I am the Father, are trying to get everyone to go back to God's way. And God's way is peaceful. It's orderly, and it makes sense. I hope that makes a little bit of sense to you, Teresa. I love how PJ is chiming in. I need some time with the two of you. Well, come visit, Bruce. I commented on a video titled Christmas as an Anchor in Reality and got 17 replies of emotional comments about church traditions. I know, it's just, but the word says some people's eyes and ears will be closed to these truths, which is unfortunate. That doesn't mean we don't keep putting it out. We have to keep casting the seeds out there of the truth. Wow, Seattle smash and grab is worse. That is, I'm sorry to hear that. Yay, Teresa. Brother Tim. CM, that's a good point. Okay. We Tree Bonsai. I came from the background of being a gospel minister. I understand the conflict. Yeah, we went through Christianity. We were, non-denominational Christians for 7 years. And when the questions came up, we didn't know how to answer them either. But then when we saw the answers, it became very clear. Timothy 2:15. I've heard a weirdness about rightly dividing the word of truth. Angela, do you mind explaining more about? Even here in the Ozarks, smash and grabs happen even in our church parking lot. Man, I'm sorry to hear that, Northwest Arkansas Prepper. That's no bueno. It seems to me if the Bible is from God, God would not just change his mind with the New Testament. That does not make logical sense. Exactly, MI Prepper, he didn't. And people who try to explain that he changed his mind don't even know the word, because in Malachi, I think it's Malachi 3:6 or 3:16, he says, I am the Lord, I change not. So he's not going to change his mind. It makes no sense whatsoever. Hey, brother Tim, Solar Tim, shalom. Glad to see you. They say some of the New Testament is not for Gentiles. Okay. That doesn't make any sense at all. Because, wow, this thing with the phone is driving me nuts. Angela, that is addressed very specifically in Acts 10 and 11. When Peter sees the sheet coming down with the animals on it, and he's told to eat of the unclean food, and he says, "Not so, Lord, I've never eaten anything unclean in my life." In verse 28 of Acts 11, it says, "Now I understand that this vision was about people." Because before Peter had the vision, the very serious Jews would not have anything to do with Gentiles because of the laws in Torah. They might become unclean and then therefore not be able to go to the temple. So they never interacted with non-Jews. And that showed Peter that he could interact with non-Jews, and that's all they're called, Gentiles. And immediately after, he goes to the home of the Roman centurion, I think, a Roman officer, who now is getting Torah and wants to be baptized into the faith. So that statement, whoever told you that, Angela, that makes no sense whatsoever. She's capable of buying it and not kill it with a pistol, and has a large church family. Tweakers in the Ozarks stealing. That's probably who's doing it, Manny. Don't know how to say that. All right. Well, folks, I'm probably only going to be online for maybe another 10 minutes simply because this live stream's gone an hour and 50 minutes, and I thought I would end at an hour. And I'm starting to get a little tired. My throat's getting a little sore. You haven't seen the video on gold. It's on the channel now as a regular video. The premiere is over. You're welcome to go there and make comments there. If you have any comments or questions, I'd be happy to address them here. And since you have me and Brother Tim is here, if you have any solar questions, now would be a really good time for you to ask questions about solar power or anything about off-grid living or anything about Torah. I'm going to message you and send you what I'm talking about. Acts 7 through another book is for Gentiles, and after is just for Jews. Absolutely. Angela, you are welcome to message me that, but said that is wrong. The Testament is the gospel of Jesus, is the good news of Jesus, and that is for the Jews as well as the Gentiles. I'm pretty sure it's in Roman where it says there is no more Jew or Gentile or Roman anymore. We're all brothers and sisters in Jesus. But yes, feel free to do that. I was told my learning was wrong because of those verses, Sister Kate. Wee Tree Bonsai, you were told incorrectly. I just gave the explanation of those verses, and whoever told you that was wrong. Chasing Life, you are welcome. Home Skillet once educated me on the real story of the Good Samaritan. I had honestly never heard what she said before, but it made sense what she explained. The Samaritans were not strangers. That's right, M.I. Prepper. The Samaritans were not. The Samaritans were not pagans. They were not enemies. They were of people. I don't know if they were the same family groups, but they were of the same people who believed Yahweh was God. And they only wanted to follow Torah. They didn't want to follow the traditions of the elders, and they were shunned because of it. So that's exactly right. The live stream crowd will try to take over your life and make you stay on for days. Laugh out loud. They got me to max out at 4 hours and 43 minutes last month. Ooh, bless you, brother. I don't know how you stood that, because it just, I need water right now.
Get water.
There, that's helped. Woo! I could not do 4 hours. I could not. Israel includes 12 tribes and the former Gentiles who follow the way now. Exactly, CM. And if you look at the Exodus leaving Egypt with Moses, it said it was the Israelites, strangers, and sojourners. So this is a whole nother thing. Maybe we'll have to do a live stream on that. But being Jewish means you continue to follow the teachings of the elders. The more of their teachings you follow, the better Jew you are. And you can't Jew unless you do those things. So to believe and become part of the family of everyone else who believes in God, realize if you follow Yahweh. Oh my goodness. Signed a piece of paper and getting up here soon. Shalom. Thank you, Brother Manny. Thank you for swinging by. I will be sending an email concerning the building. Look for it later tonight or in the morning. Bless you, C103, brother. It was really, I'm sorry we didn't spend more time with you. It was really nice seeing you guys. Oh yeah, the particle collider in China soon. That was an interesting reveal, isn't it? It's amazing. China is on the move, and it's definitely worth our while to keep our eye on what they're doing, because they have the potential to be a huge, huge power. Oh my gosh, I've been on here so long, my battery's losing power. Oh goodness, if I can get it plugged in, it won't reach. I think there's another plug-in over here. Got 15%. Yep, okay. I'm going to do my phone real quick. Sam, can you grab that while you're up? Right there. Can you pull my cord out real quick? I've got to plug my phone and it's about to go out. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Here we go. Yep. Look at this. What an interesting modern world we live in. We have to be plugged in all the time. Here we go. And I wouldn't have been able to do the live stream at all. I don't want to work. So I'm actually really glad I had the phone. Okay, here we go. Just leave and get it. We'll wait. I didn't want to have to. It was right there. I heard Noah got drunk, had sex with Ham's wife, and pulled Canaan from Ham and put him with Shem. That is ridiculous, Angela. I don't know where people would have gotten that from. That's nowhere in the word. So where would they have even gotten that kind of information? Okay, stop doing that. I feel blessed tonight. Well, thank you, Ouija Bonds. I feel, excuse me, and could be doing the excuse me, not the monitor thing. What is that? Where you were getting rid of the spammers. All right, shalom, sweetie.
Mama, were you fighting with strangers on the internet?
I certainly was not.
Proud of you, Mama.
Shalom, set apart homestead. I hope your tooth gets fixed adequately and everything. Thank you, Janelle.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
Timothy, if you're in Georgia, you need to contact, or I'm going to suggest, I'm so pushing everything, and I don't always know what's going on, that you try to get in contact with the Revolting Man, and C103 is in that area too. Addicted to live stream yet. Shalom, Laura's Corner. I'm getting ready to get off, sweetie. I've been on here almost 2 hours, so maybe we'll get more time next time. tandem. Okay. No, it's almost 2 hours, and I've got like a minute and a half left, and then I'll be done, I promise.
You started talking at like 5:45.
I started talking at 6:15.
Whatever.
There is a thing in Scripture, Angela, but it's not that. It was not ham and all that stuff. They saw their father's nakedness, which can be interpreted to mean that they slept with their father, or his wife, because there's more than one meaning to the words, and all that fallout came from that. But I'm too tired now to go into it right now. Sorry, moderator. Thank you, Teresa. That was the word I was looking for. For people to study the Bible, most people read letter teachings. I don't know if I agree with that. Good night, everyone. Shalom, shalom, CM. Tim, I'll see you at the Puget Sound Viking Network meeting at Bob's Burgers. Okay, you guys have a wonderful time at that Viking meeting. And Mark Chase, thank you for your positive feedback and stuff. Thank you, Wes. I think it was Hans' wife. I think it was Noah's wife, Angela. And maybe we'll have to talk on a different live stream about that because I'm too tired and I have to go back over the verses to Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Dietary. Thank you for moderating. Thank you. Bless all of you. Shalom. Good night.